Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Check this out. This is J. Edgar Hoover, head of the FBI for decades. He is seen here wearing the fez. On his fez is a crescent moon and star with a scimitar sword above it. According to CM Bay, the crescent moon and star represents the Moorish woman and child, and the sword above it represents the persecution of the mother and child. The crescent represents the mother or widow in Masonry, as well as the institutions teaching Islam among our people in this hemisphere. The star represents the child, so-called new Moors, those being born into Moorish science. I, self, law, am master. These are the 5 universal symbols of Islam, the 12 signs of the zodiac, the science of the Moorish nation of the Order of Islam.
What?
North Gate, North America, founders of civilization. North Gate, North America, founders of civilization. This is about to blow your mind. George Washington, chairman of the Continental Congress of 1774, is documented saying, if we would agree to take the fezzes and turbans off the Moors' heads and remove the sandals from their feet and enforce it with severe punishments, and also swear a death oath between ourselves to religiously and faithfully not allow anyone to teach the Moorish children whom they really are or who their forefathers were, and only allow the Moorish children to be taught that they were truly Negroes, black people, and colored folks. George Washington stated that 200 years from today, the Moorish people would not know their nationality nor the national name of their forefathers. Also, they would not know from which land or ancestors they descended from. Interesting. Nor the national name of their forefathers. Also, they would not know from which land or ancestors they descended from. Interesting.
Nothing in this world works the way you think it does. Nothing. Governments do not operate the way you think they do. Banks do not do what you think they do. The police department is not here for what you think it is. Nothing in your world works the way you think it does. There's a far higher, bigger picture going on the earth for at least 7,000 years.
And very importantly, let us speak to the youth. That the federal government has no more vacancy. Virtually every department is filled. The same thing in the states, the same thing in local governments. So you can have a good degree from a good university, and you will never get a job.
The first president of the United States, they taught us that since we were little kids. It's wrong. In 1781, the United States finally got the British to agree to get out of America. So as the armies are marching on the Continental Congress saying, you owe us a year's worth of pay, and the Continental Congress is running for the halls of Congress, out pops a guy named John Hanson, who happens to be mixed Oriental, black, and white. Kind of had the skin color of President Obama. So he pops out in 1781 and says, hold on, George Washington. Let me personally pay your soldiers. So he has a couple of people working for him go down in the basement, and they bring up these chests full of silver. And he paid the Continental Army off, and they were all happy, and the Continental Congress stopped running, Thomas Jefferson and the rest of them, and they came back, and they made him the first president of the United States in 1781. He set up the post office, the presidential seal, all kinds of things. Isn't it fitting in a nation of immigrants that our very first president would be Oriental, black, and white? Again, his name was John Hanson. So when you go to high school, elementary school, and they tell you, the first president was George Washington, you raise your hand and say, no, it wasn't. It was a man who was black and oriental and white named John Hanson. He was a Moor. He was a Moroccan.
George Washington was the 9th president, and all of them was Moors, and their symbol was what? Huh? Come on, Come on. Was a cherry tree. So the code is George Washington chopped the cherry tree down. That's when they switched signals. I'm so tired of people saying, well, it was just the white people. No. Why are we intentionally leaving others out? There are black founders.
And I want you to also recognize why you're not going to find information like this in your school books. Why? Because it will liberate you. Because it puts everything back into context. And it starts to show you who's who. See, this December 1st, 1789, he's been in office about 7 months. He was appointed. He was not elected. He was appointed April the 30th of that same year. Keep in mind, this is the same year, 1789, when the Sundry Free Moors Act was before the House of Representatives.
If the Declaration of Independence was 1776 and the Constitution was 1789, and if George Washington's first term